What up, though, my Afro? It's your boy Show too. Yos to the boxer, Maximum, Maxim, Maxim. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm sorry, but it's a sad day. It's a sad day. Dude was from what, Russia, and I think it was Russia. Anyway, so he's in this boxing match, and he's in the 11th round, and they pretty much call it. His end. His corner was like, that's it. Dude is taking enough damage, and I'm just like, after 11 rounds, like, you know, anyways, he got hit like 319 times, like in the head or whatever, and several times to the body, and they said it was the last hit in the 11th round that made him throw in the towel. Remember when Miguel Cotto fought that dude who cheated, the other Mexican dude who cheated? Forgot what his name was, but we ain't seen much of him after that. Uh, and he destroyed Miguel Cotto's face because the padding they either took the padding out, or they use some kind of gypsum or whatever, and it makes it harder, and there was a couple people who died like that, but so they were kind of, so in that case, that guy beat Miguel Cotto, beat his face in, and then once they found out he cheated, Miguel Cotto had a vendetta against this guy and fought him again and whooped his behind, you know. And there's a few times we seen cats get punched and we just like, yo, son, that looked kind of fake to me. It was like a why. Remember when Sugar Shane got punched by Mayweather, and he was trying to dop him up or whatever, and Mayweather was like, crack, punched him in the face. Look, I thought the whole fight between Mayweather and Sugar Shane was. I was like, what you pay Sugar Shane, 5 million to go in there? I'm just like, I think you paid him off, Mayweather. Uh, to me, he's just not the greatest fighter. And big ups to Sweet Pea. Rest in peace, brother. He was 55, which is Parnell Whitaker, one of the best defensive boxers I've ever seen, and who was on Mayweather's top 10 simply because he was just so good at defense. And Mayweather is not a knockout artist, but he's a great defensive artist, and he's got that some of that from Sweet Pea. And Parnell Whitaker was hit by a car, and took him away early, and that's really messed up because he had a lot of knowledge to share, and that's what he was doing ever since he stepped out the game. But this boxer was 28 years old, the dude from Russia that died. And basically, so I was talking about the ways boxing, we've known boxing the cheat, padded gloves, unpadded gloves, you know, people sticking things in their gloves, referees cheating people with longer counts than what should be. But this fight was pretty. It wasn't a. It was even as far as weight. It was even the way it's supposed to be, weight class, and all that other stuff. But the other guy was a better fighter than he was, clearly. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Well, let me back that up. Not so much clearly. Well, the other fighter was beating him. He was beating him by points. But it doesn't take much. It just doesn't take much to leave this planet. What Mike Tyson say? He told Ronda Rousey, "We are in the occupation of getting punched in the face." You know what I'm saying? So Ronda had to snap back out of her desire to want to go and commit suicide after she lost. Then she came and lost again, but she lost to two top tier women. So just like, what do you? Why are you gonna go and do yourself in? This is our occupation. We get punched in the face. People don't stay on top all the time. It just doesn't happen. But nonetheless, getting punched in the face, it depends on who punches you, how hard. It, I mean, we all know that the brain, there's just not a lot holding, stopping your head from bouncing off your skull. Just one good punch and then boom, you're out, and that could be for the rest of your life. I mean, so it's just a sad case that this guy. It's always sad to see somebody who is not deserving of their life expire. I mean, it is life, but it's just so sad to see that. And the guy's wife had to fly in. She didn't even know he passed away. So she's coming into the U.S. I think today she's getting into the USA. And like I said, she's from Russia, so she had a very long flight. And she's coming here to find out that her husband is deceased. You know what I'm saying? He was 28 years old, obviously a solid boxer. It was he didn't die in the ring. But basically on his when he went to the hospital, that's it. Once your head bounces around, your brain swells up. They have to drain the fluid, and I don't know exactly on a medical standpoint. Was it hematoma or something like that? Is what they said. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but Max Kellerman was talking about it, and he was saying, I don't know, because what they try to do when this happens, because we know there's a lot of cheating in boxing, but there's not a lot of casualties in boxing. There's a lot of knockouts, is what you want to see, but there's not a lot of casualties, or they wouldn't do it uh, for more reasons. But what he was saying was, we're trying to find out how this could have been stopped. Like, which way could we have looked to stop Maxim from being deceased today? And he said, I don't know any way that we could have known. This was not a his face was so bruised up that, you know what I'm saying, we didn't throw in the towel. Remember the one guy, he was fighting MMA, the black guy. He was fighting MMA, and he went in there. He got hit a couple times. He didn't get knocked out, but the next round he was so exhausted, and his brain, I mean, it just clearly wasn't firing on all cylinders. And when he went in, he was wobbling. When he stood up, he was wobbling. They should have called it right there, and they didn't. And when the next round was over, he pretty much fell over, and he was non-functional and he was non-responsive. But the thing about it was, the doctor, who knows signs of concussion and knows signs of extreme exhaustion. See, extreme exhaustion, like when you're extremely exhausted, it's hard to come back from that. They try to give you water and try to tell you to rest in that, but sometimes the body doesn't come back from that. But here's the thing: when you're extremely exhausted, other things take over. Like if you have asthma or something like that. If you have asthma and then you're looking at heart failure, because your heart is trying to, and that happened to somebody, that I knew personally. They had an asthma attack and they had a heart attack. That was it. So extreme exhaustion can lead to a chain of events inside of your body that will not allow your body to function the same way. And one of those things is, of course, the brain, because oxygen is not getting to the brain. Next thing you know, somebody's in a coma and they're pretty much brain dead. And then, they finally pull the plug on him. Now, in this guy's case, Max's case, what he did was, in the 11th round, once they sat him down and was just like, forget it. When they were taking him out, he threw up. So he already shown signs of something severe internally was happening to him, because he was on his way out and he threw up. And once they took him to the hospital, that was it for him. Anyways, you guys should look at it because it's interesting. a lot of you guys on my channel like sports. I like sports. I just don't like the fact that a lot of them are fixed. But I watch sports every day. You know, my main sport that I like to watch is track and field, because that's what I did. But also, it reminds me of, remember Dooku Kim, Asian dude? He actually died in the ring, I think. When he got hit, I think that was it for him right there. Uh, I don't think he ever, I think he expired right there. So this type of thing can happen. And we know uh, 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 somebody who is an excellent puncher, even on the street. That's why when you see people get in street fights and they're winning, you'll see their friends drag them off of somebody. And you're so adrenaline up, you're still trying to beat this guy up, and this guy is knocked out. You'll see a lot of people, yo, get off of him, get off of him. And they're your friends. They want to see this guy get beat up because he was asking for it, but they're telling you if you don't stop, you're going to catch a case. You know what I mean? You're going to catch a felony. There's not going to be no misdemeanor. And the worst one is murder, but it's a manslaughter. So you know what I'm saying? And this is happening recently. I think last year with an MMA fighter. He caught a manslaughter charge simply because he was talking, I don't know, some kind of pissing contest. And what he did was he got into it with a power lifter. Power lifter was much bigger than he was. The MMA fighter, shorter dude. They were jaw jacking over what sport is the best, and it just led to meet me outside. Powerlifter took off his shirt, and he was a big, slow guy. He was powerful, this is true, but powerlifters are not fighters. They're not technicians at fighting. So the MMA guy just, he hit him a couple times, and then he caught him with a roundhouse kick. And if you've never seen nobody get hit with a roundhouse kick, it is no joke. How you doing today? It is no joke. He caught that guy with a roundhouse kick, and it landed straight to the jaw. Guy went down, and he was laid out like an iron cross, and that was it. So you guys be careful, stay alert, stay alive. It's your boy Tom 202.